Hey folks, Leslie here again. This is the promised video about a little more detail working with multiples of your pattern. That was what we used to go into a little more detail about intentionally placing, well, getting your pattern and then intentionally placing your colors to keep your pattern. And now this one, this has a shorter run, so it's going to be better for showing you the multiples, but it's a very infuriating pattern. It's got this beige, blue, beige, blue, beige, a longer brown, and that's the repeat. So I already worked it up. As per the other two videos, I showed you how to find your pattern. So I found my pattern and I played with it, and my pattern is multiples of only 14 stitches. So now I want to do 28 stitches. That was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 2 for turning. And then fourth chain from hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I highly recommend you practice several times with a single repeat and then only 2 or 3 repeats of your pattern until you're pretty confident in your ability to adjust your tension on the fly, because that's going to be even more important in this, because you do not want to have to take out multiple rows on a long piece. On a scarf, it's no big deal. On an Afghan, you're kind of going to be hurting if you don't keep track in real time, let's say, of your placement. So practice on adjusting your tension and getting your stitches where you want them to fall. And I'm sorry, I'll try to keep this in camera range. It's just kind of an awkward angle to be holding my arms. I usually have them nice and in close because I have really bad eyes. And when I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, my arms like to be way up here, but that's obviously not going to work for you. So here we go. And I am going to have to run this out for a while because this pattern repeat is just irritating and hard to see because it is so short. So I may start singing this time, like I threatened to in that last video. Okay, so now let's make sure we're at about 2 repeats of our pattern. So we've got, oh, look at that, we happen to fall right into there's that long brown. So beige, blue, right? Beige, blue, beige, long brown. Beige, blue, beige, blue, beige. Okay, I maybe should have made that row a little bit looser. So I'm gonna work a little bit loose. Try to get this to fall properly. Because remember in my previous videos, as I showed you, that first row, whoops, I don't want to there, that first row can be a little tighter than you expect it to be. And I'm getting notifications. I am going to ignore them for now. I hope you can do the same. There's that long brown. Beige, blue, beige, blue. Okay, now, let's see how far off we are. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm going to keep working a little bit loose because I know this works because I did my my tester row. Okay, let's see. Beige, so we're getting there. Okay, there's a blue. See, and then if I go straight down and over, there's a blue after a long brown. So I'm 2 off. I still want to be a little loose here. And see, this is if this is going to bother you that your first row or 2 aren't right on target, you know, just go ahead and take it out now and crochet it up just a little bit looser. Okay. And see, there we go. We're back in pattern. Okay, there's the first of the long brown, so there's the first of the long brown. See, we're in pattern now. Okay, there's a blue, and here's a blue up here. So remember what I showed you. You want to look straight down and back, or unless you added a stitch, and in which case it's going to be opposite. You're going to want to look straight down and back this way so that it falls like that. But I'm working just a little bit short of full pattern, so I want it to land one out, one further. See, so that all I did was I just multiplied my pattern by 2. My pattern was at 14, so I did 28 stitches, and then you can finagle it if it didn't quite fall right. You know, remember how we finagled on that last video? We did a lot of finagling and got it to fall right. Sometimes you can take off or add just 1 stitch, and then remember your sides you might have to do your sides a little differently. Do one side with the mesh and one side with the selvage like I showed in the previous video. Or some people had better luck having both sides with the selvage. It just, you know, or you can try, if you, like I said in my other video, my previous video with that one, if you find yourself having to tighten up the tension too much to keep in pattern, you can either take off 1 stitch at the end or 2, see how it falls, or you can go down a hook size even to see if that helps you, because you want to try to maintain at a medium tension. Whoops, look at that. Now I'm catching up to myself. That fell exactly over the one before, so I want to tighten back up again. So I'm going to take a few stitches out so that I can tighten them back up just a tad and get back in pattern here. There we go, that's better. I moved it over just a bit. So now I still want to go a little bit tight because I didn't move it over quite enough. There we go. Now we're getting back in pattern. See, there's we got the blue. It's even look at that, partial off-white or beige or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so over 1, up 1, well, up 2, but directly up 1. See, so that's doing 2. So you want to practice, like I said, with a 2 or 3 repeat, just to get the hang of placing your colors before you do a massive 10 repeat. But it's just a matter of multiplying your pattern. It doesn't matter how many colors, how many times any one color repeats, or how many you know, patterns it makes, just as long as you have 1 full repeat of the pattern. Remember, this pattern was long brown, right? Beige, blue, beige, blue, beige. Long brown, beige, blue, beige, blue, beige. See, that's a repeat. Okay. And now 1 down. Looks like let's see. And it's okay if it goes back and forth just a little bit. You know, if you're not exactly precise, unless that bothers you. I mean, if you want it real precise, you can keep going back and changing your tension. Just go back a few stitches, change your tension. But overall, as long as you've got it close, you're gonna be okay. And yeah, my hands are very sweaty. It's a very unseasonably warm day here, and my hands are very sweaty, so I find my tension is really getting uncontrollably tight. So that's irritating when I'm trying to do an instructional video. But you know, if you really don't like it, you can always start over. Just don't go so far that it's really gonna break your heart to start over. There's the brown. Let's see how we're doing now. Got brown, back one. Yep, that's more of a beige, off-white. Oh, come on, focus. And that's a brown, so we got two browns. Two browns. Okay, beige. Blue. Then we're back in pattern now. Blue. Beige, blue, beige, blue, beige, blue. That's confusing. I'd rather have a lot of different colors. Beige, blue, beige, blue. I can't figure out which in the repeat I'm at until I get to the long brown. Then it's like, oh, there I am. So look, there's the long brown. So there's the first long brown. Well, actually, you can even compare it. Look at, that's a partial brown. That's a partial brown, so we're still in pattern. Over one, up one, directly up one. Up two rows, but directly up one. And that's really all there is to making multiple pattern repeats. Just multiply your base pattern and then crochet it out in your chain and chain your two to turn, and then make sure that first couple rows, you know, you can add or drop some stitches and figure it out if it's falling weird, and then redo your chain if you have to, or redo that first row a little looser, like I probably should have done on this, because remember, you can get a larger hook and just make that first row of stitches a bit loose, because for me anyway, it might not be the same for you, but for me it really does make a difference. See, look, we're back, we're in pattern, we're okay. Blue, over one, up one, blue. Beige, oh come on, beige, over one, up one, beige. So just make sure you keep doing that. You keep placing them where you want them to go. You are the yarn master. And it doesn't matter if they go just a little mushy, you know, as long as it will form the nice crisscross plaid look if you just keep at it and place your stitches. I mean, really, that's, like I said, that's all there is to multiplying the pattern. Just literally multiplying the stitches. And if you have a long run, like if your pattern repeat, like this is only 28 stitches, and this is 2 repeats. Some are 28 stitches or 35, 36 stitches, and they're only 1 repeat. So if you're trying to make something pretty precise, you might want to multiply it in half patterns, like make 4.5 pattern repeats. So if you're, let's use easy round numbers for multiplying. If your pattern came out to be 20 stitches wide, and you want a fairly specific width, let's say you want a baby afghan, and you don't really want it to swamp the baby. So if your pattern repeat is 20 stitches, and you measure, you know, this 20 stitches, and it comes out to be, you know, 15 inches or something, and you just don't want, you don't want, you know, 3 repeats might be a little narrower than you want, and 4 repeats might be a little wider than you want. You can do 3.5 repeats. So just do 2, 4, 6, that's 3.5, is another 10, that would be 70 stitches. But again, you're going to want to practice with making only a half pattern or a 1.5 pattern to see how that works up for you. But it does work. You can multiply your pattern out by a half pattern, and it looks like I haven't been paying attention to my repeats, have I? I'm falling a little off, aren't I? No, well, that was alright. Blue, blue. I'm a little off. I could stand to loosen my tension a bit. I'm going to go back and loosen my tension a bit. Fix that up. Because I was too busy yabbering away and not really paying attention to what my stitches were doing. So blue, blue, it's kind of in between those. So I'm going to loosen up just a bit for a couple stitches, and that should get me back on track. So I'm just going to kind of keep going for a little bit, and shall we sing selections from Fiddler on the Roof? That's my favorite. There's one time when I was working at Teledyne, I was making something, shower headlines, and working the second shift, and it got a little crazy on second shift. It was fun, and one night I was half asleep and wanting to stay awake, and I started singing, "If I were a rich man, all day long," and I started doing the shoulder shimmy, and I looked up, and there happened to be a tour coming through just then, and oh, that was an interesting moment. Yeah. So you know, but it's fun. It's fun. I love Fiddler on the Roof. I love musicals. I really do. So, you know, we can do, you know, is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy at play? I don't remember growing older. When did they? Okay, so make sure we're still going on track. Look at that, we are. I want to get a good amount out for you so you can see how, even though the pattern looks so sketchy, you know, when we're down here, looks like it's going all over the place, but it will sort itself out if you just bear with it, and it'll look like something. Don't know what it'll look like, but no, it'll do it. You just have to kind of unfocus your eyes like we're unfocusing this camera. And my connection is still weak, and I am so sorry. My internet is so horrible, and where I'm living, there's only one lovely provider out here, so I'm stuck with them, even though this is not the best thing in the world. So we're just gonna, and another notification. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a nice knot. I'm one of those weird people that find untangling yarn to be therapeutic. So I find a knot, and I'm like, oh yay, knot. Yeah, well, you know, that's me, person who sings Fiddler on the Roof on the shower line at work. Oh, that reminds me, something I always wanted to do there, and I never got a chance. On April Fool's Day, what I really wanted to, okay, you need a little info first. On the shower head line, there was, you know, every station that put each whole part on, and then at the end of the line was the water test. And it was just a sink with a spigot with a quick connect, you know, clamp, sort of. And we just put the shower head on the clamp, run the water real quick, and, you know, make sure it worked. Run through, you know, the cycles on it, make sure it worked. And, and I think I messed up here. Yeah, I seem to be tightening up again. So I always wanted, on April Fool's Day, I wanted to like rig up out of like PVC piping and just, you know, shower curtains, just this big rolling, like shower stall looking thing, and just put it around the water tester station on one of the lines, and say, you know, new shower head tester, disrobe and step in. I always thought that would be kind of funny, but then I'm kind of a weird person, aren't I? So, but anywho, now see, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, and so this isn't going real well. But now that I've gotten completely off track, whoops, that even completely missed the stitch. Anyway, up until this last row, I was doing pretty well. And now it's getting dark. I love it. But anyway, you can see up until this last row. Anyway, we're starting to make progress here with it. We're gonna form a pattern here if we keep track of where our stitches are falling. You can see you have to follow, remember, every other row. So white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, or off-white blue, I should say, on every other row going that way. And, you know, brown, 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 every other way going that way. As long as you keep track, you'll be okay. And you can see now that this is starting to form a bit of a pattern. So, I don't know how else to clarify, to say this. Just multiply your pattern out, practice, 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 and don't sing fiddler while you're doing this, because I kept going off track. But yeah, just pay attention to where your color changes are falling, and try to keep them within a stitch, you know, off one way or another. You know, tighten up your tension to draw out the stitch. If you tighten your tension, your stitch will move forward. If you loosen it, your stitch will move back. So like here, okay, where we're looking at it, and look at that, there's the two browns there, and there's the two browns there. It should have been back one. So I'm a whole stitch out of sync back here. So what I can do is unravel it all the way back to here, because, you know, that was just that row is just kind of I really should have paid better attention. But no, I was talking about showers and April Fool's jokes. Okay, so off-white, blue, off-white, oops, drop, don't want to drop the loop. Okay, there we go. And off-white, let's see, that's part off-white, part blue, part off-white, part blue, right? So we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Keep it going, keep it going. We should be starting in the brown. Ooh, we're not quite starting in the brown, so I can loosen up just a little bit more. And try to bring it back into line here. And I'm still a little off. Whoop, don't want to loosen it that much. My goodness gracious. I just want to use a Q hook. Okay, so we're back. Blue, blue, same blue, 1 over, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1 up blue, 1 over, 1 up beige. Okay, so blue, so getting into the blue anyway. See, and you can fudge it around a little like that, and it's okay. Just as long as by and large you stay within your pattern repeats, you'll be okay. Okay, so that was a little better. Not great, but a little better. See, look, I'm still 2 off over here. But, you know, I don't want to bore you to death. If this were me, though, I'd probably go back again and loosen it up even more, just because something went a little bit wonky here. Maybe even go back a couple stitches on the previous row and loosen it up even. But it's making the pattern. You can start to see, and this is 2 full pattern repeats. Got the big brown, see? So we can tell that's 2 full pattern repeats. So it's working. So just multiply your basic pattern by increments of half a pattern. You know, if your full pattern, like I said, is 20, and you want it to, and you've measured your 20, and you think 3 repeats of the pattern will give you approximately the width you want, then multiply 20 by 3, crochet out 60, and within those first 2 rows, make sure, you know, that your pattern is falling right. Okay, and if you really want it more specific, you can do 3.5 repeats. But practice first with only 1 pattern repeat, 2 pattern repeats, 1.5 pattern repeats, or just a half a pattern repeat, and see how it falls, and train yourself to watch the stitches and fidget with your tension pretty much every stitch. But you want, on average, to have a moderate tension so that you do have the finagle room to tighten or loosen the stitches. I hope this has been a little clearer, a little more helpful. Check me out on my Leslie's Lovelies, and I know it's spelled wrong. I spelled Lovelies wrong because everybody thinks my name is spelled wrong. It's L-E-Y instead of L-I-E, so I spelled Lovelies L-E-Y instead of L-I-E. So yeah, I know it's spelled wrong, but check me out over there, and if you guys want me to do a Facebook Live broadcast so you can ask me questions in real time, we can try that. Otherwise, I really hope that between these 3 videos you get some resolution to your questions. Happy crocheting!